Welcome to the Ask Ralph podcast, where listening to an experienced financial professional can help you make sense of confusing questions, current headlines, and industry trends about taxes, small business, financial decision-making, investment strategies, and even the art of proper budgeting, as Ralph makes the complex simple by sharing his real-world knowledge with all things financial. Now here's your host, Ralph Estep Jr.
Well, welcome back to Ask Ralph, the podcast where we address your burning questions about finance, taxes, and everything in between. I'm Ralph Estep, your host, and today we're diving into an important topic that often leads to confusion, and that's the rules for determining if someone is an employee or a contractor. We're also going to discuss the impact of making inaccurate payments to these individuals and the penalties that may be incurred for incorrectly categorizing them. Additionally, we'll explore the specific requirements for someone to be considered a contractor and the records necessary to support these payments. Lastly, we're going to touch on the correct year-end reporting, so stay tuned.
Ask Ralph will be right back.
Hey, I want to take a few minutes and just tell you about the latest book I've written. The name of the book is Mastering Your Finances, Your Personal Guide to Financial Freedom. And listen, folks, it's not just a book. This is an actual roadmap to securing a thriving financial future. As a seasoned accountant, I penned this book to put the power of financial planning right at your fingertips. This book will transform your financial landscape from a confusing maze of numbers and jargon to a clear and well-trodden path towards prosperity. This book is written for every potential user, from the first-time person trying to get their finances in order to a well-seasoned person who's been trying to do this for a long time. So what I want you to do is to discover the profound impact of strategic planning as you journey through real-life examples, practical tips, and insightful advice. This book is more than a guide. It's a lifeline to financial literacy and independence. This is a way for you to take control of your financial destiny and embrace the freedom that comes with financial stability. This book is an essential read for anyone seeking to navigate the world of personal finance with confidence and ease. The book is available right now on Amazon.com. You just search for the name Ralph Estep, and you can get it either on paperback or on Kindle. So check it out when you get a chance.
And now back to the podcast.
Well, thanks for joining us today. And as always, if you find value in what we provide here on the Ask Ralph podcast, please take the time to leave us a review. And in addition to that, share it with somebody else. You know, we're trying to grow our audience, and the more people listening, the more people we can assist. So today we're going to talk about the rules for determining if someone is an employee or contractor and some things that are involved with that. So whether you're a business owner or a worker, understanding the distinction between an employee and a contractor is crucial. Misclassifying workers can have significant consequences. So let's shed some light on the topic. The determination of whether someone is an employee or a contractor hinges on several factors. The key consideration is the level of control exerted over the worker. If you have the right to direct and control how the individual performs their work, they're likely an employee. On the other hand, if the individual has a high degree of independence and control over their work, they may be classified as a contractor. So why does this matter? You know, the truth is this. If a person is classified as a contractor, you won't have to match their Social Security and Medicare. You don't have to cover them with federal and state unemployment and other benefits. So, I see it in my practice all the time. Some people want to make sure that this person is not an employee. Well, it's not as simple as saying that they're not an employee. There really are things that need to be looked at to confirm that they're not an employee. It's not just as simple as saying, well, they're a contractor, they're not employees. It's important to note that misclassifying workers can have a financial implication. If you mistakenly classify someone as a contractor when they should be an employee, you may very well be liable for unpaid employment taxes, penalties, and interest. Additionally, the misclassified individual may miss out on certain employee benefits, such as health insurance or retirement plans. So let's cut to the chase, right? To determine if someone qualifies as a contractor, the IRS looks at three main categories. Let's talk about what those are: behavioral control, financial control, and the type of relationship. Behavioral control refers to the extent to which you direct and control how the work is performed. Financial control refers to factors such as the worker's investment in tools or equipment and the opportunity for profit loss. Lastly, the type of relationship examines how the worker and the business perceive their interactions, such as a written contract or employee-type benefits. I always tell clients this all the time. If you're going to say somebody is an independent contractor, they need to have their own license and insurance. They need to use their own tools and equipment, and they need to basically set their own hours. When it comes to record keeping, it's crucial to maintain accurate documentation to support your payments to contractors. This includes invoices, contracts, and other relevant financial records. These documents should clearly outline the services provided, the payment terms agreed upon, and the contractor's tax identification information. By keeping thorough records, you can demonstrate the legitimacy of your contractor payments and avoid potential disputes or audits. In addition to that, you want to make sure you have a copy of their business license, a copy of their EIN letter. You want to have a copy of their insurance. And last but not least, you want to get a W-9 form, because before you pay them a dime, you want to make sure you've got all of your books in order. So now let's talk about the correct year-end reporting. If you made payments to contractors throughout the year, you may need to issue them a Form 1099. This form reports the total amount paid to the contractor and is used to report income to the IRS. It's essential to ensure that you have accurately reported the payments and provide the necessary copies to both the contractor and the IRS by the designated deadline. Remember, misclassifying employees as contractors can have serious consequences. It's important that you always consult with a qualified tax professional or employment attorney to ensure that you're properly categorizing your workers and complying with all applicable laws and regulations. This is so important. I don't know how many times I've come across this in my practice where someone will say to me, "Oh, Ralph, they're contractors." I said, "Okay, but you tell them to show up for work. You provide their truck, you provide their tools and materials. They don't have their own license, they don't have their insurance. So as much as you'd like them to be independent contractors, they're employees. And there are significant issues related to that, not the least of which are severe penalties that the Department of Labor can assess and the IRS. And not to mention, some potential, insurance liabilities, because a lot of times your insurance carrier won't cover things done by, quote, independent contractors. So it's really important you meet with someone like myself and discuss this. And then you just plan your budget accordingly. If they're really an employee, then make them an employee. Well, that wraps up today's episode of Ask Ralph. I hope this discussion has shed some light on the rules for determining employee or contractor status, the impact of inaccurate payments, and the correct year-end reporting. If you have any other further questions or topics you'd like me to cover, please don't hesitate to reach out. Like I said, you can email me at ralph@askralph.com. And if you know somebody that maybe, needs to talk about this particular situation, have them contact us, share this podcast with them. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, take care and stay informed. And as always, this episode of Ask Ralph is brought to you by Saggio Accounting. Visit saggioaccounting.com to learn more about how they can assist you with proper worker classification, accurate record keeping, and year-end reporting.
Thank you for joining us on the Ask Ralph podcast. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. And remember, financial issues don't have to be complicated. Just ask Ralph. The information contained in this episode of Ask Ralph is based on data available as of the date of its release. Saggio Accounting Plus and Ask Ralph Media, Inc. is under no obligation to update this content if changes occur. Applying this information to your specific situation requires careful consideration of all facts and circumstances, and any information provided is not to be considered as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult your tax advisor or attorney before acting on any material covered.